Homing bracket!
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is, of course, my review for the 1997 film, LA Confidential. So LA Confidential turns 25 this year. With it turning 25, I figured it gave me a pretty darn good excuse to finally sit down and review this film for you guys. And actually, as of the filming of this video, I did actually rewatch this film. And I'm just going to say it right off the bat, I think this film is a masterpiece. My first viewing for it was back in 2014. I believe it was February 2014. And I liked it, but I didn't really fully appreciate it, I feel like. I just kind of enjoyed the popcorn nature of it, the entertainment value. But with each substantial viewing, honestly, I appreciate it more and more the fact that this is a neo-noir, but it's also a film that balances a lot of genres. I mean, it's also a romance, it's an action film, a mystery film, it's a period piece. It's many, many type of films. And honestly, what's great about it also is that because it caters to so many different genres, audience members are really able to dive into this film and appreciate it for different things. And I think it works on all those fronts. And what's also kind of crazy is the fact that this film, when it came out, Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce were not big. These were two actors that were Australian actors that weren't big in America. So it's a risky move, the fact that a studio was like, hey, you know what? We're going to cast 3 actors, 2 of which are Australian that aren't really even popular in America. And then the third one, Kevin Spacey, who was kind of successful. I mean, yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor for The Usual Suspects, but he wasn't like, you know, box office magic the way he was later on once it was obviously American Beauty, because that was what really kind of substantiated where it's like, yeah, this guy is box office magic. Obviously until he turned poisonous in 2017 where it was like, But back in 1997, this was a big risk is what my point is. And I think that it's great to see like a film like this that was just able to be so risky and at the same time ballsy, because you wouldn't see this happen. This film would not be released the way it was back then. It would not have been a box office success. It might have done well at the Oscars, like if it came out now, but it just wouldn't have had the success that it did with audience members, critics, and just winning a bunch of awards. It would probably have been dropped on, unfortunately, streaming services, and that would have been the end of it. And it's a shame because this film, as it stands at 25 years old, I think it's aged like a fine wine. The story is very dense. There are so many layers to this film, and as the film continues on, you realize more and more that there are just so many layers. The characters, they have a lot of different motivations, but at the same time, it's broken down into a lot of themes and messages. The themes of corruption, the things of what you need to do in order to get the job done, whilst at the same time, how maybe that's not how it should be done, but at the same time that it needs to be done in order to keep an image. And this film definitely plays with the idea of image. It's all about it. Every single character, from the character of Kim Basinger to the characters such as Russell Crowe, all of these characters have it where they need to have an image. And at the same time, what I also like is the fact that this film takes place in Los Angeles, the city of glitz and glam. But underneath it all, there's stuff brewing. There's stuff that obviously there's a lot of corruption. It's very murky. And what's great about this film also is the fact that the cinematography matches that. You know, as the film progresses, it really kind of emphasizes the shadows and how there's actually several scenes, one in particular with Russell Crowe, where he's bathed in black and then he steps into the light, well, tries to step in the light, and there's a little bit of light that kind of matches him, and it kind of showcases that, you know, he's been murked so far into the depths of black that he himself is trying to find the light. And at the end of the day, that is obviously symbolic for the fact of the matter is that he just is so engulfed in all this corruption and he's trying to get out of it. A lot of symbolism in this film. I see why in my high school, why this film was studied for, you know, critical viewing. I see that because there's just so much going on in this film, from the cinematography to the score, which, by the way, Jerry Goldsmith, what a score. Holy cow. I absolutely adore this score. And what's crazy about it too is, and it didn't really hit me until this viewing, but the score really isn't introduced until I would say like the jail scene, so probably about 15 minutes in, which I thought was kind of unique because before that it was like soundtrack based, you know, songs at the time and everything. So it was just kind of interesting that it took a little bit for the score to kind of get going. And I think that it kind of is interesting because it really kind of showcases how like early on they're really trying to establish how like on the surface everything is kind of a-okay. Also wanted to mention this, but going back to what I was saying earlier about the meshing of genres, I think that the fact that this movie has one of the best action scenes at the very end is so satisfying. I'm not going to spoil like what exactly it is, but it takes place at a hotel, and it is just a masterfully done scene. The choreography, the acting, the little bits of dialogue early on in it, it all comes together really well. And I think that really what happens at the end of that really hits home the themes and messages of this film. And I also think that this film, with it being about corruption, especially within the police industry, I think that that in itself was also ballsy, especially for its time period, because I feel like now if this movie were to come out, it would be something where like a controversial, but back then it was like it wasn't controversial because it was something that people understood that art is all about kind of questioning things. It's about trying to push the boundaries. It's about trying to get it so that when people talk, that people actually think about it, and analyze it, and dissect it. And that's what film's all about. That's what TV shows are all about. And I'm really glad that we have a film like LA Confidential, because I really do feel like a film like this, it stands the test of time because it's not afraid to really kind of talk about the things that most people don't want to talk about, the people that want to brush it under the rug, so to speak, just like the police in this film want to do. And I think that that's something that is really fascinating for me. So in the end, honestly, LA Confidential, it's an incredibly well-acted film. It's incredibly executed. The filmmaking is, the period detail is just amazing. If you want to look at this movie as simply like a popcorn munching film, it's great at that too. But if you want to dive deeper, this film is definitely that. I would highly advise people to analyze this film because I definitely, again, see why people analyze it to this day. And I think at 25 years old, LA Confidential is great. It's twisty. It's one of the best neo-noirs I've seen. And honestly, just going to say it outright, it's one of the best films I've seen just in general. And LA Confidential comes highly recommended. Highest recommendation. I'm going to add that. Highest recommendation. I'm going to give LA Confidential a... So yeah, LA Confidential, guys. Do you like it? Did you not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. One quick story. Ironically enough, the person that recommended this to me back when I was in high school, it was a teacher. She recommended it to me, and she didn't even like the film. So when I saw it and I loved it, I was like, I don't understand how someone couldn't like this film. And she said, well, I just didn't like the fact that the people were corrupt, like the characters. And I was like, what are you going to do, though? But anyways, again, let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comment section down below. If you liked it, if you didn't, let me know down below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow my Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.